Welcome into the live stream here for McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel, episode number 34.
I think we're going to call this the Bo Jackson episode.
The Bo Jackson episode, huh?
What do you think?
Why not?
Why the hell not?
Why not?
I feel to get a little crazy today. Is that okay?
As opposed to like every other day?
No, yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I'm coming in 8 flames, 64%.
Well, if I disappear, you'll know that I'm going to get more cough drops.
Dude, I told you how to fix that.
You said something about putting potatoes.
If you slice potatoes, like real thin, okay?
All right.
Put them on the bottom of your feet when you go to sleep and put your socks on. When you wake up, you'll feel better.
That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Well, what else do you have to lose at this point? Because those cough drops ain't helping worth a shit. You sound like the Undertaker over there.
I'm feeling good, though. I'm feeling better.
Well, why don't you just try one night?
Got up Saturday.
Will you try it one night for me?
Maybe.
Okay.
Got up Saturday early because I coughed all night. I thought, oh, my God, what am I going to do? Because if I sit in a press box, because, listen, a lot of people that sit in press boxes, let's just say it's a heavily boosted crowd.
Did you wear a mask in the press box?
No, I did not. But I was worried Friday night. I told Laura, I said, if I start coughing like this in the press box, people are going to lose their minds. And she said, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I don't know. And so I got up. I went to the gym. Nobody there, of course, game day. And I got on a treadmill. And I set that bad boy for about 90 minutes.
How did you breathe?
Well, at first I couldn't. And then after a while, things kind of got loose. And it was quite therapeutic. By the time it was over, I mean, I was just drenched, but I felt a lot better.
Yeah.
And I changed out of my wet clothes, threw on some dry clothes, came home, took a hot shower, got dressed, went to the stadium, and I actually felt really good until about 8 o'clock. And then it kind of started hitting me again, like, oh, here we go. But
I feel good by then, though.
But I feel a lot better today.
That's good.
I don't sound like it, but I do. Yesterday, Sunday, I got up. Nobody cares about this. You and I are talking.
Hey, you see what people are saying in here, though, right?
Like
potatoes work. No, they said the potatoes work.
Oh, is that right? How about that?
Just saying. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You know what else happens with Grind's right? If you put potatoes in your socks,
I know Grind.
Stay away.
Me and Grind are going to have some conversations here in a little bit, a little heart to heart, Barner to Barner.
But I got up Sunday, and I felt okay, but I was trying to get the cough gone. And middle of the night, Saturday night, Laura's like, we have some cough medicine. And I was like, no, I wish you told me. And she's like, yeah, we have cough medicine. And I'm like, okay, I'm 3 in the morning. I go find it. And I took some, and it helped me sleep. And me, being a dumbass, on Sunday morning, I'm up, kind of like, okay, I got to do 10 thoughts, got to do player shows, let's get going. Excuse me. And I took more of that damn cough medicine.
Oh, that's bad.
And next thing you know, I'm drunk. It's 9:30, and I'm like, I can't write. I can't even stare at the screen. I can't read the words.
That would have been entertaining.
And so I'm like, what am I going to do? It was 3 o'clock before I started working on 10 thoughts. And 10 thoughts were the most single phoned in 10 thoughts of all time. They were awful. I mean, I really published them, and I'm like, this is humiliating. But nobody cares.
All right, you ready to do this thing,
Yeah, let's
man?
do it. Let's do it. Let's get us audio file started, and we'll get rolling. Thanks to everybody for being with us. Hey, do us a favor. Hit the like button.
Yes, please.
Please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to MPW Digital, it's free on YouTube. Just hit the subscribe button. I'd love for you to hit the notification button, but it's okay if you don't. No big deal. Leave a review. Leave a 5-star review, even if you say, hey, you guys are horrible and I hate you. Leave a 5-star review. That would be nice. It helps us with some stuff that we're trying to get done. And hit the button. So
steal somebody's phone if they're not subscribed.
Yeah.
We're going to have a lot of Auburn people in here today. Hey, if you would like the reality of what's going on at Auburn,
oh Lord,
it'll be a great time to hit the subscribe button so you can get all your notifications.
All right, think about this as we get started. Unrivaled wants to know, Tyler.
T-Sizzle. I like that.
If you had to hire Neal to a football job, on field or ops.
SID.
I don't want to be an SID. They don't make any money.
Well, that's what I would hire you as. What else you want? What do you want to do?
I mean, let me be like the.
You could have the job, whatever you want to call it, where you're like the. You have to have somebody in the building that is not a yes man.
Couldn't I be the voice of reason?
The voice of reason. That's it. The associate head coach, voice of reason.
Yeah.
You got to have somebody to bounce stuff off of.
Just when I'm sitting in the meeting and I hear y'all doing stupid stuff like, well, hold up.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
That's not going to work.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be
because we're going to talk about the difference at some point today between the mentality that a coach has and the mentality that someone like I have. And it's going to come across as a criticism both ways, and it's not.
Okay.
It's a firm belief that I have that the world requires different mindsets.
Oh, 100%.
So we'll talk about it.
All right.
First, let's get a stream started.
Yeah.
You're just ready to roll. I know.
If I don't get this in me, I'll have to have an excuse for what I'm about to say, so I can always blame it on the rain. Blame it on the rain.
Yeah. Welcome into another edition of McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neal McCready. That is Tyler Siskey. Thanks for being with us here on the big show. Episode number 34 of McCready and Siskey as the march towards Boise continues.
It does.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. We'll talk about a number of things. There's more stuff about Auburn. We'll talk about Auburn again.
Again. No, we're going to talk about the truth of Auburn. How about that?
All right. Tyler says we're talking about the truth of Auburn. I always felt like that's what we were kind of doing.
There's a lot out there that's not right now.
Shane Lyons out at West Virginia.
Yep.
Probably not great news for West Virginia coach Neal Brown, who beat Oklahoma. One of my bad picks for the weekend. By the way, Oklahoma, screw off. I mean, seriously, my God, what are we doing? They need a hand raised guy in Norman to go, wait, what are we doing? They're 5-5, 2-5 in the Big 12.
Yeah. There was a reason that Lincoln Riley got out. You know that, right?
Yeah. Okay. We'll talk about Jeff Saturday's win. He's 1-0 as an NFL head coach, undefeated. Derek Carr upset.
He was. You said that?
Yeah, I did. Vikings-Bills was absolutely the game of the year so far. I mean,
in any sport.
If you like sports,
that was all you wanted.
That was it. You don't have to like the NFL or college. If you like sports.
Yeah, if you didn't like that, you go to
Justin Jefferson catch. I still don't know how he caught it.
Because he's a freak.
But physically, I don't know how he did it.
Yeah,
because if you're the DB, you're like, I can't cover any man.
Played the position, coach position, no idea.
Yeah, if you're the DB, you go, I can't play it any better than that.
All right.
We'll talk about that, and then of course we'll go over our picks from last week. What went right for Tyler, what went wrong for me, and we'll look ahead to a pretty weird slate of games. But anyway, before we get into too much of that, brought to you by our friends at Rain Total Body Fuel. Today I've got the Rainbow Sherbet.
There you go. I'm going with the White Gummy Bear.
Both have 300 milligrams of natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits, achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more. How are you?
Well, it's just been a very unique weekend for your boy.
Yeah.
Called you Saturday morning.
You did. I was finishing my run. I had just sent out a snarky tweet about you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think that's what I didn't feel bad about calling you. I didn't know if you were up or you're trying to sleep in. I didn't know if you were at the stadium. So, I got a notification on my phone. When I follow somebody that tweets at me, it pops up on my phone. I had an incident at my house to where I feel somebody targeted me on purpose and destroyed my mailbox at my house. And
okay.
I am, just to let you know, because you're probably listening, I have this thing called a Ring camera.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I got it narrowed down. you're probably listening and you know where I live, but I'm about to soon find out where you live. And we're going, if you've seen The Equalizer or some Liam Neeson stuff, I took it personal, and I'm the wrong dude to do that with. But I took it as a personal jab at me, and I'm narrowing it down
So
very
it's
quickly.
your opinion that it was not an accident?
It was not an accident. An accident, you put a note in a mailbox or you
Mhm.
knock on a person's door.
Right.
You don't take off running like a chicken shit. So I took that personal, and I'm the wrong one to do that with because I will not let it die. I want to let you know I've got it narrowed down. I will find you, and I do take this thing personal, and I'm the wrong one. So just to let everybody know that, and I've talked to you privately.
You have.
Do you think it was personal?
My guess would be, and I've been spending the weekend having to read between the lines on things and guess on things.
You're good at this.
My guess would be that, yes, it was personal.
Okay. So I'm going to
stupid.
Yeah.
But
and it's
personal.
not even, and by the way, I just want to make this clear. This is not about the money. It's probably going to cost me because it messed everything up. It's going to cost me between probably, I would say somewhere between $600 and $800 to get fixed.
Really?
Yeah. And it's not even about the money. This is the point. It's the point. People make mistakes all the time. This was not a mistake.
Oh, sure. That's what I told you. I mean, like, people back into something every day. God, I almost did it leaving football today. I almost backed into one of those damn yellow brick columns because my phone wouldn't stop ringing, and I was on the phone, and so my beep didn't work, and I was trying to avoid hitting this person that was walking behind me, and this golf cart was coming around, and so I lost my focus for just a second, and I realized that was like yay far from running into one of those concrete things to protect Vaught Hemingway, and yeah. So, but my point is if I back into someone's mailbox or run into somebody's mailbox by accident, stuff happens. I'm going to stop, and I'm going to go to the door and say, "Excuse me, sir, I'm an idiot, and I just hit your mailbox, and it appears that I destroyed it. Here's my information.
Yeah.
Get an estimate. I'm good for it. I'm really sorry. It wasn't intentional. I'm an idiot." And your response would be, "Hey, man, stuff happens. Thank you." Right?
Yep.
And then you go get an estimate, and you get it repaired, and I pay for it, and we're all good. That's the way
the world
civilized
works.
civilization works.
I just felt it was a little personal, and I'm the wrong one. So if they want to make it personal, by God, we can make it personal. We can make it really up close and personal because I'm going to find them, and I got it narrowed down. So, and I do have a Ring camera, so things are getting Super Sleuth is on the case, and we'll come to a judgment here before too long. So that got my weekend started off.
Yeah, you were fired up.
Yeah, I felt really bad because all right, so I had kids over, and they were like, "It's cold." I don't know why they're out there, but a lot of kids were in the front yard playing football in the neighborhood.
This is Saturday?
This is Saturday morning. This is right before I called you. I was leaving the house to go get some stuff to cook for the game.
About 10 o'clock.
About 10 o'clock. I was going to go to the grocery store. My wife's out there, and she has somebody's done something in the mailbox. I come outside, and like immediately you go from like zero to rage.
Sure.
Like I'm convinced after Saturday that I have CTE. It's in there. Like I can't explain it. I was immediately raged beyond belief, and I was dropping F-bombs, and like little kids were out there. They were
because when you called me, I was like, you sounded so angry at first. I was like, Tyler, it was a really playful tweet, man. I mean, it's all good. Because I tweeted that you had said that you wanted to come run and watch soccer with me, and so I tweeted a picture of my I tweeted a picture of my treadmill screen.
Yeah,
it had the soccer game I've been watching. The soccer game was at intermission, and the players were getting ready to come back out, and it said how long I'd run and all that stuff. And the only person that even commented on it was Kane Womack's wife, Melissa. I mean, she said, I was like, I'm waiting for someone to get this, and Melissa got it. So, hey, Melissa, thank you. Way to go, Jags. Kudos. Another team that I wanted to bet on, I was like, it's too many points. Nope. It was right. They covered. Way to go, Jags. With you.
But no.
Anyway, so that's that.
Saturday, and then Sunday. Turned 45 on Sunday. And so on my birthday on Sunday, I went undefeated
You did.
In the National Football
You
League.
did. I
Not
followed
only in
along.
our picks,
In general.
I went 8-0 yesterday. So
It was a good day.
it was a really good day in the old pocketbook yesterday.
All right, where you want to start with this? Because I'm gonna let you sort
You
of
go ahead and go.
Yeah,
I'll guide it because you talk about it all day long, I imagine, and I know you have to start do your website and all that stuff about it. So I guess my question is and it's really a question for you, is what in the hell happened yesterday? Because I would say I'm 99.9% more informed than anybody in this world not named Kiffin or Cohen or Sexton when it comes to this. What happened yesterday that everybody was, my social media and everything was going apeshit yesterday? What happened? What did I miss?
I really don't know precisely because I tell people this all the time. I don't read the other sites. And that includes and I read Jay's site, the Auburn site.
Right.
I actually post on Jay's site sometimes because, I like Jay. I covered Auburn for a long time. I have a little soft spot for Auburn, et cetera. All that stuff. And I don't know. I spent more time Sunday on the whole Kiffin Auburn thing than I intended to. And I got up this morning and looked at my site, and there's 2 or 3 people like, hey, we need more information. We kind of almost demand more information. And I was like, but there is no. I felt like we've talked about this. It's not like Lane Kiffin to Auburn has been a taboo topic. I wrote about it
4 weeks ago, right?
Well, I think I've written about it
the week of the game.
Yeah, I wrote about it the week of the game, and I wrote about it before that. We've talked about it before that. We do countless podcasts. It feels like we talk about Auburn all the time.
I can only imagine.
I do a show with Jay where we talk about Auburn. We've talked about all their chaos week after week after week. And so I was kind of taken aback by that a little bit. Like, well, why haven't you written anything? And I guess, I don't know this, but it certainly seems like other media entities have written something along the lines of Lane Kiffin has an offer, Lane Kiffin has a deadline / ultimatum to give an answer, and that, the expectation is that, let's see what if we got it right. Kiffin gave Auburn a number. This is the narrative that's out there. Kiffin gave Auburn a number to meet. Auburn met the number. So now Auburn's saying, okay, so we need an answer by X. And when I heard that, I guess yesterday for the first time, I was like, that doesn't sound right. That's not how this works.
No.
I called around, got some information, but didn't have enough to really dive into it. It was a Sunday night. Carson and I every Sunday night at 8:30 watch Family Guy. So we watched Family Guy, and then it'd been a long week. I was tired. I went to bed and woke up this morning to
hysteria.
Well, not quite. So I've spent the morning working on it. I made a big post just then on rebelgrove.com about what I know or what I've heard. And see, I can't help this part of it. I grew up in the newspaper business, as you know, and always had an editor. And so if I called an editor and said, so I got a source, he would say, well, who's the source? I had to tell him who my source was. And then, you had to vet that, and you needed a second source, and you do all those things. And so before I just report on something, I'd like to feel great about it, but I need to feel at least really good about it.
Yeah.
And, today's the first day that I feel like there's a consensus among the people that I've spoken to about what it is. Like, I talked to one guy yesterday who was giving me all these details, and then he told me something else, and I'm like, whoa, hold up. What was that last part? And he told me, and I said, that's not right. He goes, what do you mean? I said, that's not right. I'll tell you later. I can't do it now. It would out somebody. I said, that's not correct. And he kind of backtracks a little, and I said, wait a minute, is that your opinion, or is that what you've heard? He goes, well, that was just kind of what I assumed. And I said, well, okay.
You know what assuming will do, right?
But my what immediately struck me was, okay, well, if you're assuming this, how much of this other are you assuming? how much opinion is going into the first part of what you told me. So it made me kind of discount that. And I talked to somebody else who's like, yeah, that's not true. I'm like, okay, then scratch all of it. And today's the first day, literally in 2 months, that I kind of feel like there's a consensus among what's reality.
Yeah. You know,
I'm not sure I explained that.
No,
It made
I
any
got it.
sense at all.
No, you did. Here's the thing, and look, and maybe I should be. Cole probably definitely is going to say I should be. We could be all clickbaity that we want to when it comes to this stuff, but I'm going to tell you this: is that's not how it works when you go to when a coaching search starts. Hell, I don't care. I'll say it. I was contacted by by a coaching search firm on Thursday night after this show.
Wait a minute. Tyler Siskey to
Yeah.
be Auburn's next head coach.
All right, and I talked to him.
Can I be your hand raiser?
No.
Are you not taking the job?
No, I'm not. It wasn't about me.
Oh.
No, it wasn't about me. It was asking me about other candidates for a job. So you don't go from Thursday night gathering intel on your possible candidates.
Who all have you worked for?
In my history?
Uh-huh. Let's go through them.
Let's see. Let's start back. I started with Larry Blakeney.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to guess it's not him.
Steve Roberts.
Not him.
Mike Bates, Eddie Guth.
Nope. Nice people.
Hugh Freeze.
Okay, I'm going to put that one on the side.
Nick Saban.
Ooh, that's a power play by Auburn to go after Saban.
Yeah. Joey Jones.
Probably not Joey.
I've worked with Lane Kiffin.
Okay.
I've worked with Billy Napier, Mario Cristobal.
Nope.
I've worked with a bunch.
So I'm guessing that they
Kevin Steele.
Oh.
I've worked with a bunch.
Oh, hey.
You like how I threw that one in there?
Hey.
You like how I threw that one in there?
That.
I'm learning.
I like that.
I'm learning. No,
Okay.
but here's the deal: is I had an hour-long conversation, and you don't go from that on Thursday night to, hey, here, 2 days later we got an offer for somebody, and you got 2 days. That's not how it works. You think Lane's talking to anybody before the Alabama game? No. You think he's talking about it? No, he's trying to get ready to go play Arkansas.
Yeah.
Now, agent may be having conversations with him, but let me explain to the fans how this works. Okay? He is now, I want to say the truth, okay? I do know this from the other side. The reality is, yes, he is Auburn's, that's who they want, okay?
Yes, he is priority one.
He is priority one, okay? But that doesn't mean that some ultimatum. You like that? Ultimatum? That's a new word. Yeah. Ultimatum was given to him, some offer. There was no offer made, okay? Do you want to explain how when people probably get this confused is, and we were talking earlier, and I think the fans can understand it, is they reach out to you to see if you're interested.
So the analogy that I always give.
To your people.
The analogy I always give is you want to take a particular girl to the dance. You got to ask her out, right? But you're not completely sure that she's going to say yes. And so you send out an intermediary to gauge the water. How's it looking? Hey, if Tyler asked you out to the dance, would you say yes? And if the answer is yes, well, then you move forward. If the answer is, well, I don't know, well, now you got to figure some things out.
Because you don't want to be left at the altar.
And if the answer is no, well, now you're moving on to your next choice, and you want to be able to say, hey, you were my first choice. Because if things go well and, you want the night to end on a happy note, you don't want it to be, hey, I wasn't your first choice for this, was I? That's not a good conversation to have. Yes, you were the only person I asked.
First person I've talked to.
You were the first. I did not ask out any other girl. I asked out you.
My wife never kissed another boy until she kissed me. Oh, hey. I'm sorry. My wife's going to be so pissed at me.
It's just not true.
Oh, she's already pissed at me about my reaction over this mailbox, so she got pissed at me again.
So that's that deal. So has Auburn done the deal where they're reaching out to Lane to see if Lane would be interested? Sure. And I think if Lane were to say, hey, give me an offer, they would.
Yeah.
And by the way, all of this would occur through intermediaries.
Yeah. Lane's not picking up the phone and talking to John Cohen.
No. People were trying to say Lane and John Cohen talked on Friday. I'm like, no, they didn't.
No, they did not.
They did not.
Did not happen.
Lane Kiffin did not put himself in a position to have a conversation with the Auburn athletics director 24 hours before he played Alabama with the chance to stay in the college football playoff race on the line. No, that's ludicrous, man. And the fact that people say that kind of stuff makes me go, so do you vet anything that you're told?
That's what drives me crazy is and I'm going to get into it in a minute, these quote-unquote journalists that are fanboys. Tell the fucking truth, man. Don't go out there and just take a rumor that you heard from your sister's aunts, cousins, uncles, grandmother's sister at a freaking, in your grandmother's basement with your underwear on, typing on your keyboard that this is what the truth is, and people just run with it. It's crazy. All right, I said it. I don't know what episode we were on, and I'm going to stick with it.
Okay.
Hugh Freeze will be the next head football coach at Auburn University.
Well, if you made me bet on it today, that's what I would bet too. I would bet that I would bet that Auburn does want to move quickly. That I would bet that Auburn has reached out and may reach out one more time to Dan Lanning at Oregon.
Not happening.
My anticipation is that Dan Lanning is about to get a new deal at Oregon.
And his buyout's dumb.
My anticipation is that Lane Kiffin will ultimately stay at Ole Miss. And now, listen, if you're an Ole Miss person, you might as well get used to this.
This is going to be happening, and that's the thing.
Because
that's another thing.
He's eventually,
all the time.
He's eventually going to leave.
He's renting the whistle.
Yeah, and
there's going to be another
most
guy.
Coaches are renting.
Every coach.
I mean, if Lane stays 2 more years at Ole Miss, that's 5 years, which would have been about 3 longer than I would have bet on when he took the job.
Yeah, I'm just telling y'all, I'm going to be absolutely. Do I think that they're going to want Lane? I think there's too many barriers in the way.
I do too. There's a lot there.
There's a lot there. I don't think there's so many barriers there that just the notion that they're going to pick up the phone and say, hey, Lane, you got 24 hours to decide. He is not doing that. He doesn't have to do that. You can't make these demands on somebody that the other person has all the leverage. All right, so that's not happening. He'll take his time, probably after the Egg Bowl, and whatever. If he does have opportunities.
I think it'll happen quickly.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying, like, if he has opportunities, that conversation happen quickly.
If you told me the Kiffin part of this is resolved before the Egg Bowl, I would buy it.
Well, I mean, it may be resolved with him not going.
Well, with him, again, I'll leave it there. My anticipation is that Auburn will offer the job to Hugh Freeze and that he will take it. Hugh Freeze also will do a lot of the things that.
It's a fit.
I'll give you an example. Someone today was like, if Lane got it, he could keep Carnell Williams on us. Lane's not keeping Carnell Williams. And if you're going to say Carnell Williams has to be on his staff, well, that's going to be a non-starter for him.
No, I mean,
Hugh Freeze, on the other hand, would absolutely keep Carnell Williams if that was a sticking point.
That's how I ended up running recruiting.
It just kind of is that way. So
yeah, I mean,
that's where that story is.
Yeah. So I mean, I know everybody's. I don't want to say something. Somebody sent me a message today, and look, there's a lot of angst and anxiety amongst the Ole Miss fans. I feel like a parent in this deal. Okay, I feel like I have to be like my 2 kids are fighting. All right, I got my Auburn Tigers over here, and I got the place I live, Ole Miss. And a lot of fans. I'm not a fan of Ole Miss, but I like. A lot of my friends are fans of Ole Miss, right? And so I want them to be happy and all that stuff, right? But I'm sitting here, and it's 2 kids that are going at each other. That's what they're doing, and they're fighting over somebody, right? And Ole Miss, what do we do if Lane leaves us? What do we do, guys? It's going to be okay.
You go hire the next guy.
You go hire the next guy.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, they lose my mind when people act like, okay, if Lane Kiffin leaves, it's just the program's over. I mean, no, it's not. I mean, you look. Can it really get a lot worse than the probation stuff? Can it really get a lot worse than when Hugh Freeze gets fired in July for the whole thing in Tampa?
I tried to recruit during it. It was a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get worse than that.
There's going to be ups and downs and ebbs and flows, and that's just what it is. But I think the one thing that has happened that I think would be in a good situation is you are paying a coach $7.5 million. So you know how to budget with that. They can
Sure.
go take that money and go hire the next guy. It's going to be just as good, and you're able to pay candidates like that.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to attract quality candidates. And when you get the quality candidate, you're going to win football games.
At that point, you become a top 15 job, and if you're paying $8 million a year, and in a 12-team playoff, look. Here's the thing that I also bring up.
There you go.
And I think this is important because I think if there weren't an imminent 12-team playoff, I think this might be a different conversation that we're having today.
Agree.
Excuse me. But if there were a 12-team playoff dating back to 2008, okay, Houston Nuts 2008 team would have been in the conversation by the end. They won a bunch of games. They got red hot. Probably wouldn't have made it, but they'd have been in the conversation. Hugh Freeze's 2014 team would have been in the conversation all the way to the end. His 2015 team would have made it.
14 team probably made it too. Doesn't want to Peach Bowl.
Yeah, would have been close.
The two New Year's Six teams would have made it. I think.
I suspect that the 30-0 loss in 2014 in Fayetteville would have been a throat slasher. But regardless, they would have been in the conversation late into November. Lane Kiffin's team a year ago in 2021 would have made the playoff. And Lane Kiffin's team today,
as long as you finish up,
as long as it beat Arkansas and Mississippi State, would probably get into the tournament. You would certainly be playing meaningful football games in November.
Correct.
Right? So Lane Kiffin, on a topic we'll talk about later as it pertains to all coaches, has plenty of ego. He has plenty of belief in his ability to out-coach and win a football game. So he looks at that and goes, okay, well, if I can make the playoff here, is Auburn really that much of a different job than Ole Miss in terms of making the playoff?
No.
The answer is no. There's 3 jobs in the SEC West today that are head and shoulders above Ole Miss and Auburn, in whatever order you want to put anything else.
Alabama, LSU, and Texas A&M.
LSU and Texas A&M. And make no mistake, everybody in the West wants Texas A&M to keep Jimbo Fisher forever because right now it's a total cluster. If they ever brought the right guy in with those resources, they immediately become dangerous. So is it worth going from the 5th best job to the 4th best job?
I mean, that's a decision for Lane. Look, at the end of the day, guys, and this is the truth, and you can go listen, get all your clicks if you can click on them and read all the stuff you want. Auburn wants Lane, but there's a lot of barriers in the way.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it never is the first guy. And I'm just telling you, since I've been saying since like episode 10 of this bad boy, the next head coach at Auburn University is going to be Hugh Freeze. And I would be shocked. How about this? The only way it's not Hugh Freeze is if it's Lane Kiffin.
I think I agree with that.
Auburn, you're getting one of those two. You're either getting Lane Kiffin or you're getting Hugh Freeze.
I think I agree with that. I don't know that I'd go 100%, but I think I agree with that. Because if you told me it wasn't one of them, I don't really know who it is. Anyway, enough on that. I've talked about Auburn to the point.
Do you feel like you've just been like beating your head in the wall?
No, I just feel like I've talked about this so much. And this morning when someone was like, you never talk about it, I'm like, what?
That's good shit. All right, let's move on. Shane Lyons, speaking of coaching changes, Shane Lyons, a friend of mine that I worked with at Alabama, he was, I don't know his title, but he was the number 2 guy at Alabama when I was there.
Yeah.
AD.
Mm-hmm.
Got the West Virginia job. He's on like a ton of NCAA committees and stuff, like leading them. Really one of the best ADs in the country. Gets fired today. Now, why do you think that happened, Neal?
I'll take an educated stab. They wanted him to fire his football coach, and he didn't want to.
Yeah, not the Monday after you beat Oklahoma at home. And
bring that up again.
That was on accident.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, it was rough for my boys out there. Good people too. But anyway, long story short is
nobody cares if you're not winning.
That's it. It's a scoreboard business.
Scoreboard business.
And at the end of the day, he's top 10 AD in the country.
Yeah.
Without a job. That's where we're at. Everybody has bosses, I guess.
Should he have fired Neal Brown?
I don't know. I don't know the whole situation.
Right.
But I'll tell you this. I personally respect the hell out of Neal Brown.
See, I've always liked him.
I like Neal a lot.
Yeah.
Coached against him for a long time, recruited against him for a long time, all the way back to, Arkansas State, Troy days, right?
I thought it would work out better at West Virginia. It just hasn't worked out, and it might be because it's just hard now. I mean, man, listen. I mean, seriously, you watch football today.
What's their record?
I think they're 5-5. You watch football today, and man, it is just I'll give you an idea, okay?
4-6.
4-6. So yesterday, as I climbed out of my cough syrup-induced drunken stupor, I did my weekly ranking of the SEC. Pretty easy at the top. It's Georgia,
You think?
Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, LSU, Alabama, Ole Miss, 1 through 5. That's pretty easy. I got there. It's like, okay, cool. And I'm staring at number 6. I'm like, wait a minute.
That's what we said from the jump.
Who's 6? And so I started writing it down over here on one. You can see this. The people can. I've got notepads and stuff.
You are the king of the notepad.
And I'm writing down Kentucky, Mississippi State, Florida, South Carolina, Arkansas. And I put a question mark by Arkansas.
Brendan's girlfriends are here.
Oh. Find love on. I'm going to bet that you don't find love there.
Brendan might.
Yeah. Love, though? I doubt it.
Brendan had a fun little thing on Twitter yesterday.
Find love. But I did it, and I was like, how do you separate those teams? Even beyond the transitive property of, well, Kentucky beat so-and-so, and they beat so-and-so, and they I just like, all those teams are the same. And
That's
so
what
I was
we
like,
said from the jump.
and so what I did, I was so proud of myself, because in the past, I would have spent 30 minutes trying to separate them. And I was like, screw it. 6 to 11, you figure it out. And then I did 12, 13, 14. And, hey, kudos to Vandy. I didn't bet on you, but way to go.
Just when you gave up on them.
Way
the
to
week
go.
that you give up on them.
I was so happy for my guy, Clark.
You're supposed to stick to your gun and say, by gosh, I told you guys they were going to get one this year, and they got one. That's what you were 1 week short.
I know. And
1 week.
I know. If I just stuck with it. Because I said in the offseason they're going to win an SEC game, and everybody's like, no, they're not. I'm like, yeah, they are. I can feel it in my fellow bald-headed blood.
Let me tell you what happened. I really know what happened.
We won.
No, you were, from the jump of the season, you were waiting for this Missouri game, and they didn't win the Missouri game. They came close, and then you saw how bad South Carolina played, and you were like, okay, maybe we have a chance here against South Carolina. And when they went and got the shit kicked out of them by South Carolina, you were like, it's over. You were done. They didn't have any other hope. And then
That's probably true.
And then they did it.
They gave up, and I was really disappointed when they lost to South Carolina. I
wonder what kind of money line odds you could have gotten Vanderbilt at Kentucky
before the season
in July.
1,000.
I mean, at least. But
anyway, kudos to them. But my point was, I was like, screw it. And then 12 was Auburn, 13 was Vanderbilt, 14 was Texas A&M.
Put A&M last, huh?
They have the same SEC record as Vanderbilt. If they played each other right now, would you bet against Vanderbilt?
No, yes, absolutely.
Did you watch Texas A&M Saturday?
Yes.
Oh, Tyler.
You would bet Vanderbilt beats Texas A&M. I mean,
one team would try.
Hey, don't sleep on UMass this week. This week, money line.
Oh God. Can you imagine?
Oh no.
Can you
that might do it.
That might be the 86. That might be the $86 million loss.
That might do it. No, but it's bad. I mean, but you knew it was going to be bad if A-Chain didn't play. You know what I mean? Like, you knew that how bad that offense was going to be if A-Chain didn't play. I mean, he was the only thing that kept him going. But anyway, let's move on while we can, but before we get canceled.
Real quick, Walk On Sports Bistro puts
do
everything they've got into bringing you game day with the taste of Louisiana. Dig into their mouth-watering, made-from-scratch Louisiana cuisine like po' boys, gumbo, voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads, all in front of 70-plus TVs, 40-plus ice-cold beers on tap. So listen, if you're in the Oxford-Jackson area, you're not making the trip to Starkville for Mississippi State's game, you're not making the trip to Fayetteville for the Ole Miss game, you're not going to wherever the other games are this week, Stop at the walk-ons in Ridgeland or the walk-ons in Oxford, and make sure that you tell them you appreciate them making this show a part of your week.
All right.
You all right over there?
Yeah.
What the hell happened? Okay.
Just to reload for the second half here.
Okay.
All right. So a lot of stink on this Jeff Saturday deal. We had on to talk about the other day, but did you see Bill Cowher's comments yesterday?
I did not.
Oh, my gosh.
Sundays are super busy for me, and so I miss a lot of stuff, and I was watching that Vikings-Bills game that went on and on and on, and so, no, I did not.
All right. So in case you're buried under a rock, the Colts hired Jeff Saturday, who was a high school coach in Georgia, but he's in the Ring of Honor. He won Super Bowl at the Colts. Center, really good player. They hired him to be the coach. Well, the first part of the week, you had all the woke world going in about it being racist that they hired him. I don't understand that. I never understood where that came from. And then I don't like when people deflect blame and do things. That drives me nuts. And then you had the Bill Cowher comes out on NFL Today. I think that's what he's on, CBS, I believe, and just blast how it's a disgrace to the coaching profession that you had capable guys in the building that had been head coaches, Gus Bradley, Fox, those guys, and they'd been with the team since training camp and all that, and you basically hire an outsider to come in, and it was a shot and all this stuff, and was a disgrace to the profession, yada, 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 and a lot of people on both sides of this. And then he goes out, and they win the game yesterday. They beat a very dysfunctional Raiders team right now. But here's the thing, man, is this like...
Oh, I've got a real hot take on this.
All right, I'll let you go ahead.
Okay. It's the National Football League. That league's about one thing.
Yep.
It's about two things. It's about money and winning, and the two things typically go together. Robert Irsay, no matter what you think of him, owns that team. He can do what he wants to do. Now, he's not free from criticism, and you can criticize, but Robert Irsay's job is to put a product on the field that
the owner
is to put a product on the field that the team, that the fans will support, and that will win. He's brought a Super Bowl to Indianapolis. I think they lost 1-1 with Tony Dungy and Peyton Manning and all them.
Yeah.
Jeff Saturday.
Beat the Aints.
Yep. Won a Super Bowl, beat the Bears, lost to the Saints. So he knows what it's like to have a Super Bowl in Indianapolis. He wants to do it again, I'm sure. Now, does that mean he's sane? I have no idea. But he didn't bring in Jeff Saturday because Jeff Saturday's white.
No.
Now, he brought him in on an interim basis. He brought him in for two reasons. One, he very clearly wants to shake it up in the building. And two, they probably needed to do something to make them relevant from a PR standpoint. And Saturday did that. A lot of people watched the Colts on Sunday that normally wouldn't have watched the Colts. Fair?
Correct.
So it worked. Now, this offseason, my anticipation is you will see the Colts
go through the whole process
and interview a multitude of candidates and try to hire the person, whether he's black, white, I shouldn't even say he or she is white, black, Hispanic, a ghost, whatever it takes to win games.
That's it. Period.
That's that league, because that league is the ultimate scoreboard business.
The ultimate.
If you put out, if you make results, you play. If you don't, you don't. That's just that league.
Watch what happens in Las Vegas this all season. I bet you there's a change there after yesterday.
Oh, there's absolutely going to be a change.
He's
there.
1 year. He's 1 year in,
and it's just the way it is. And so, if you've ever covered that league or been around that league, you know that's how that league is.
Yeah.
And look, am I denying that racism has ever happened in the National Football League? Of course not. Of course not.
Right.
Have there ever been people who were bypassed back in the day because of their skin color? Absolutely. Do I think that happens today? I really don't. I think this league is about winning now. Look at the Dolphins. The Dolphins go hire a guy that looks like he just came straight out of a
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter, and he's winning.
McDaniel.
Why did he get the job? Because he wowed him in an interview.
And he's backing it up.
I mean, that's why.
I mean, it's the whole thing, though, and there was a lot of people, and my man Cole sent me this. So, Brennan, if you're listening, this is my Brennan deal. Brennan, I guess, put out a tweet or something that said he was like, just disgrace to the coaching profession or something like that, or I don't remember, somebody, I hate it. He's going to get mad at me because I didn't quote his tweet right. But, guys, it's the impact that he had on that game was nothing more than motivation. And you know what interesting is where he put Matt Ryan at quarterback because he thought that was the best chance for them to win. So he puts Matt Ryan back in. A lot of the players that were quote-unquote dinged up and hurt, Jonathan Taylor seemed to have his best game of the year. It's a little motivation and some things like that because the players –
It also tells you that the previous staff had lost the team.
But it also means a little bit. It's pretty smart of Irsay if you want to just – I don't agree with it. I probably wouldn't have done it. But at the end of the day, the players respect Jeff Saturday more than they respect a coach because – and Frank Wright played, but he played a long time ago. They know Jeff Saturday because he played there.
He was Peyton Manning's center for all those years. Sure.
And he got them kind of motivated, and they needed an outside voice to kind of do some things straight.
Well, and the ultimate proof of this is that the longer Ryan plays, the closer he gets to certain numbers that trigger a lot of money. And if Irsay was not about – if Irsay at least wasn't thinking about the winning part.
He wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Because he – doesn't like to lose money.
So anyway,
but Vikings Bills we talked about a little bit earlier. Game of the year,
just amazing.
I'd like to take a moment of silence on Justin Jefferson. Can everybody just please silence for about 5 seconds? I'd like to appreciate his massive skill set.
So that was a moment of silent admiration.
Yes.
I was worried there for a minute that something happened to Justin Jefferson.
No, that was
because the last I looked, he was flying off the field with his cape.
It was unbelievable.
I didn't know whether he crashed or something like high over the air. I mean,
everybody, including my wife, knew that the ball was going to him, and there was nothing you could do about it.
Like I told you, the dude for Buffalo could not have guarded him any better.
He was 100% in phase. I mean, there's nothing.
He's amazing.
It really is. It's scary. How about this?
They had Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson and Joe Burrow on the same college team.
You wonder why they were any good on offense?
And Clyde Edwards-Helaire on the same college team.
I mean, dude, I can't even – I don't even understand what happened. But, all right. You know what time it is, Neal?
Medicine time?
No, Neal. It is time to give the fans the update that they've been waiting for on the road to Boise.
Hey, by the way, in all seriousness.
Diversion.
No, not diversion. So the road to Boise, we talked about the trip we have planned. Our guy, John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis, helped us put it all together. John's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners, allows him to supply his clients with added values, unique benefits simply not available to other travelers. So what we did was we're like, hey, John, we've got this Boise deal that we're doing. We've got to be in Boise on this day. We've kind of thought about doing something, making it a little bit of a longer trip, having some fun, being able to put out some social media stuff, do some extra shows. Thought about going to Vegas for a couple days before. So here's our parameters. Here are our dates. Here's our budget. This is kind of what we'd like to do. And that was the end of the conversation.
Yep.
I hung up the phone.
I got to call him back, by the way. Don't let me forget.
Okay. I hung up the phone and went on about our business. And he booked the rest of it. It was super easy. You can do that for you too. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net.
All right. On the road to Boise, the first question I would like to ask you is, did you keep the receipt for your jacket?
No, I got cold, so I kept the jacket. So if I get cold, I just get cold. Listen, here's the deal. I told you this. When we did this, because I know how this is going to work, I anticipated losing. Okay, so you're like terrified of losing.
I fucking hate losing.
I'm used to losing. Like, hey Neal, you're gonna lose. Okay. Now some of that's just
it's not over yet, man.
Some of that's just being a bald.
But it's not over yet.
Some of that's just being a bald dude.
I'm bald too.
But when did you go bald?
When I decided to cut it off.
There you go. It's a mentality. It's a mentality. Now, I'm mad at myself. I wish I had the sheet here. Because I looked at it on Sunday. At the list of games that I had, like, it's gone. Iowa was on it. South Alabama was on it. Like, I told Chase this morning, I'm kind of pissed at myself because for all the Iowa jokes, I watched their games. And they've steadily improved.
That's the one I knew you'd be mad about that one.
And I'm like, it was Iowa plus a point. And I knew Vegas liked Iowa because even though Iowa was the underdog, the money line was minus 105.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're going to kick Wisconsin's ass at home.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. And I do that to myself. So here's the difference. I was going to tell you this. People say, hey, have you talked to coaches about recruiting? You know what my answer to that question is? No, because they're the worst damn sources in the world on recruiting. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, if I'm asking who's coming, they're great. Here's who we're expecting to come. But if I ask a coach, and this has happened so many times, multiple staffs.
Did I do it to you?
Yes. Hey, how you feel about so-and-so? Oh, we're going to get him. You sure?
I was honest.
You were one of the more honest ones, but you were an optimist at all times. And you almost have to be in coaching.
Well, if I was optimistic about them, there was probably a reason I was optimistic about them.
But if coaches have to be optimistic people, because if they're negative, the kids
it didn't go south in a hurry.
The kids can sense the negativity. I'll never forget. We had Jason. I think his name was Jason Simpson. Ty's dad, Middle Tennessee, UT Martin.
Yep,
was on the show, and they were getting ready to play Ole Miss. It was a good Ole Miss team, 14, I think, and Hugh had it rolling. And we were like, hey, you guys are coming. Like, what's your, objective in a game like this? Win. And I was like, come on.
Yeah, but what's he supposed to say?
No, but it was a glimpse into it. If I approach it any other way, the people inside my program will know it. And if they know that I don't believe we can win, don't believe we're going to win, then why should they play hard? And it was a great answer. And I've asked so many coaches, I'm like, so you think, how you feel about so-and-so? Oh, we're going to get him. Next day he commits elsewhere. And it's like, but, and I don't even think about it because I just think coaches are wired to think positively, even though that wiring is going to go off kilter.
Is this what you were referring to earlier?
A little bit.
I think the coaching profession has wired me in a way to deal with crisis and high-pressure situations in a calming manner. I think confidence is part of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always grown up in the world that if you don't believe in yourself, nobody is.
Oh, there's a lot of truth to that. It's the one thing, in all seriousness, not to get all super deep.
Yeah.
But it's the one thing, like, especially with my son, but with all three of my kids, but especially with Carson, because I'll sometimes see it a little bit. Like I'll see it on the soccer field sometimes, and I wish I could just go out there and go, hey, you belong. You've put the work in. You earned this spot. Yeah. They didn't give it to you. You earned it. Just play. I know you're playing a kid's older than you right now, and I know he's kind of trying to push you around, but you're doing great. Chill. Believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Because I can sometimes see that stuff, and God knows he got it honest. Because I've never had a day in my life, seriously, not about picks and shit, who cares?
Yeah.
But like I was looking at this sheet last Thursday going, I like that game, and 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 yet I'm picking these other games. I'm like, why are you doing this? This is stupid. I remember thinking as I was doing, this is stupid. You like other games more. I like South Alabama, and they covered. I liked Iowa. They covered. I actually liked ULM because I knew a little something. Someone had told me something about ULM. I mean, I don't really have a school.
Right.
But if I have one, it's them.
Right.
And I talked to someone in Monroe who felt like ULM was going to win, even though they were a double-digit dog.
They got my boys at Georgia State.
They were a double-digit dog at Georgia State, and they felt like they were going to win the game. And I was like, why not at least take – I almost took their money line, which is like 400. But instead, I didn't take it at all. And so I get mad at myself. It's a little bit of a – there's no expression in life truer, though. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will believe in you. That is an absolute life fact.
Yeah, maybe to my ignorance, and I will say that first. But as long as I can remember, any kind of sports that I played or anything like that, I wanted the ball last. I wanted if it was the last shot to be taken, anything that had the game on the line, I wanted to be the guy at the plate. I wanted to be the guy pitching. I wanted to be the guy in the football game in the last drive with the ball in his hand, because not that I would probably say this, it wasn't that I just knew that if it wasn't just for me, it wasn't going to happen. It was more like if I screwed up or I lost the game, I could live with it a lot better than if somebody else had the ball and they lost the game.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think that has to do a lot with the coaching and everything like that, is I want to call the play because if it screws up, at least I know I screwed it up. I don't want somebody else to screw it up where I thought I had a better idea. All right. That's your mental makeup today.
There it is.
All right. So let's jump into the NFL games. We'll start that off in the NFL. Let's update the road to Boise. So Neal, you went 4-7. You lost 3 units.
Yep.
Your overall record is now 57, 56-3 at plus 2.37 units.
Okay.
And your boy, the Undertaker, comes out of the coffin. I was all but left for dead. I was already practicing my ice baths. I purposely went outside Saturday and wore no jacket all day Saturday to try to prepare myself. Wore short sleeves on Saturday. I am now 57, 56-3 as well, plus 2.03 units because I went 8-3 this weekend with a perfect 5-0 NFL slate yesterday.
Yeah.
And you are now leading by 0.34 units. That's 0.34 units. We are literally 1/3 of a unit apart. She's coming down to the wire, boys.
Yep.
So it's time to go. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the NFL games. We'll start with, you had the Chicago Bears minus 2.5. They lose to the Lions 31-30. Did you watch this game?
I did.
I don't know how much you were in it with your brain.
I watched some of the Lions Bears game.
You saw, look, they're better. They can run the football. They're probably the best running team in the NFL, the Bears.
Yeah.
But Fields is the one that jacks it up, man. He throws a pick six, changed everything, and they end up losing at the end. Then you won. You had the Titans minus 2.5 against the Broncos yesterday. Did you watch any of that?
I saw that we were winning that one, and so
that was the sleepiest of all sleepy games.
Yeah, I didn't watch a lot of it.
Dude, Russell Wilson, man, he needs to hang it up, man.
Agreed.
And he won't because he just got $250 million, but he's terrible.
The next game is the one that I watched a good bit of and watched with just kind of like, what are we doing? What are the Saints? Right. The Saints. I'm done with the Saints.
Oh, now you're done with the Saints.
Yes.
You don't remember this whole thing from Thursday where you'd go off on me for picking on the Aints and you're going to take them because they're
good
going
to
win?
me a couple times, but now that they did me double dirty, I'm out.
They got their ass kicked.
They did.
By the Steelers.
They did. It was bad.
And and T.J. Watt, what I tell you he was going to do?
What he told you he would dominate, and he did. Played well.
And then what I tell you Andy Dalton was going to do?
Stink.
And he?
Stunk.
Hey, to the Fighting Clay Karchers, you are the Quick U NFL Team of the Week. All right. The one pick that I probably didn't give you enough credit for, you take the Miami Dolphins minus 3.5, and they
look really good. They looked like a contender.
All right. I'm starting to here's where I'm going to get pissed because I did this before, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, let's let them prove it for one more week, and then I picked them the next week, and they look like dog shit. Are we staying where we're at? Because they've kind of put it together for 2 weeks in a row now.
If you're just talking the eye test, forget betting lines. If you're talking the eye test, the Miami Dolphins are looking like a contender. Yes,
they do, man.
They I mean,
that was a dominating
if
performance.
you're just watching them play, they look like a contender.
I agree, man.
Forget betting lines and all of that stuff.
I mean, a 22-point win in the NFL is a big deal. And then you started off.
And the Seahawks-Bucks game was just a weird game.
All right, I want to ask you a question. All right, question for you. One is Tom Brady and Julio Jones turned back the clock on you. They
did.
Like you thought they were going to look at the beginning of the year.
Brady looked good yesterday.
He looked good. All right, here I got a unique theory I'd like to run by you. How much do you think? I know they go over there a week in advance or whatever, right? 4 or 5 days. So that game is 8:30 our time. So technically, that game kicks off at 6:30 Seattle time in the morning, as opposed to kicking off at 9:30 in the morning. Do you think that has Do you think that had something to do with it?
I mean, maybe because the
do you have enough time?
The Seahawks didn't fly over there till Wednesday, and they looked sleepy.
They did. That's what I'm getting at. They looked sluggish, man.
Yeah, they didn't play well. They weren't sharp. That was the first game where they didn't appear to have a lot of offensive chemistry. Because they've looked to have it in recent weeks, and they didn't have it this time.
Yeah, I just thought that was interesting. I mean, it was noticeable. And then Tom Brady, I guess, he's used to watching Jeopardy at 5:30 and going to sleep or something, but because the old man came out and looked like vintage Tom Brady.
He looked really good. It might have also helped that he had just that much more time away from all this stuff, and he got a continent away from it, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
He looked to be having more fun.
It's the best game, but his throws, he was on target. He was on time. He looked back to normal. First time all year, in my opinion.
First time I've seen him where he looked happy.
Yeah.
Because he's always been a guy trash talk a little and have fun. And earlier this year, he hasn't been doing that stuff. But I'm sure his personal life bled into his professional life. He's a human being, of course.
All right, so you went 2-3 in the NFL. My NFL games, I had the under Thursday night. We started off with a dub. I had the Panthers versus Falcons under at 20, and the Panthers beat the Falcons 25-15. And one of the game was thrown, man. Marcus Mariota, the ball security he used in this game was embarrassing. Guys just chunking it up. Did you watch in this game Thursday night?
A little, not much.
It was embarrassing. Ball security by Marcus Mariota. But look, they kept it under. They tried to get me late, but they didn't.
In fact, Thursday night I was.
That's when you were out, right?
I was at soccer. Oxford lost 4-0. There were 13 yellow cards in the game.
Oh yeah, I like that. That's
two
fights, right?
2 yellow cards as a red. We got a player ejected. We had 2 assistant coaches ejected.
Yes.
Carson got a yellow late in the game.
But Carson, I just want to let you know, Uncle Tyler's very upset at you that you did not get a red. We got to get him choosing violence next time. I'm just joking for all the people out there. This episode is brought to you by the Biden administration.
He was. I was proud of him.
Yeah, he did a little good one.
His team was playing a man down, and they were getting smoked. And he was bringing it.
I like it.
He didn't stop.
I like it.
I was like, yeah, attaboy.
Attababy.
Attaboy.
Attababy.
Get a little fight in you.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with a little fight.
Nope. Take you a long way. And then yesterday, and I want to say this because remember my thing I was telling you, when a team is favored by 9.5 points, take the under.
Yeah.
Okay. So just so everybody knows, tonight the Eagles are playing the Commanders, and they are favored by 11. So I've already taken the under at 43.5. That's tonight.
Okay.
So I took it tonight. I'm going to ride it until she bucks me. So I did that tonight, took the under. All right. But that game exactly like we talked about. They had a chance. They ran out the clock late. The game goes under. Had the Steelers. We talked about that game. And then the Cowboys-Packers game. Did you watch this yesterday?
I did watch a good bit of it. This was a weird game. This was a game that if you got lucky on one, this was the one you got lucky on.
Well, yeah, I thought I'd lost this one.
Because the Cowboys had them beaten.
I mean, they were down 14 points.
Yeah.
Maybe more than that. No, it's 14. But at the end of the day, the call that Dallas goes for it on 4th and 4 from the 35 in overtime. Do you kick the – I mean, this is the NFL. We're not talking about Lane Kiffin yet. Do you go for it there or you kick the field goal in overtime at first possession?
Field goal.
I do too.
All day.
In the NFL, for
all
sure.
Day. Field goal. And
he goes for it and doesn't get it.
Mm-mm.
And it was PI. They missed it. And then especially in the NFL, you just breathe on them, they call it. They let it play. And it cost them the game, man.
You kick a field goal.
I'm glad you did it.
Because, also, just so you know, to make my day better yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
because I was then pressing my luck. Do you know how I said the Packers were going to win outright? I had 3 units on the money line
Oh, how about that?
at plus 180. Hey, Aaron Rodgers, appreciate you, baby. All right, then my last game was last night. You talking about backdooring the last 2 here. The Chargers were 7-point underdogs. I actually got it 8 before the game. Did you see the end of the game last night?
I did not. I went to bed.
All right, so
I was tired.
the Chargers are down 3 with like a minute 50 to go. They hold the 49ers and they punt them down to the 1-yard line. So they got to go 99 yards. They got 3 timeouts. Well, guess what? They don't get it. They get like 5 or 6 yards. They get them out to like the 7 or 8. And he goes for it. He has all 3 timeouts left. And I'm cussing because the 49ers can't run out the clock. And so the only way they can do it is to score again. And they've been running for like 9 yards a carry. And, dude, somehow they had them out of the end zone. The Chargers covered late last night. Appreciate you again to finish up my perfect Sunday. So that's that with the NFL. Again, tonight I'm taking the under at 43.5. I've already bet it with the Eagles and the Commanders. All right, college. One of the easiest wins of the year for you. You take Florida State -7. You hit. They completely crush Syracuse. I believe it's 38-3.
Yeah, this is 2 things. This is one, Florida State's playing really well lately, and Syracuse is done.
Yeah. Trying to tell you, they didn't pass the eyeball test. Shockingly, because I went with you on this personally. Washington beats Oregon at home 37-34.
Did you watch it?
I watched every snap of it.
What a game.
What a game. Do you go for it on 4th down? I'll ask you again. That deep in your territory?
No.
I don't think you can, dude.
No, you punt.
That one shocked me a little bit. Yeah.
Can I tell you how much I hate Purdue? Purdue, every time I bet on you this year, you lose. Every time I bet against you, you win. You should hire me. But until then, I hope the ghost comes and gets you.
There you go. Hey, real quick before we move on, because I meant to cover this, and I'm trying to skip around a little bit. Kodo asked, because I heard this is another thing that drives me crazy. What do you do if you're the Bills? Do you take the safety and run the clock? Here's the thing, guys. Every TV announcer, I saw this. It makes me every announcer that said, "Oh, they should have taken the safety right there." No, you don't. No, you don't. Talking about the Bills when they decide to go quarterback sneak. No, there's no part of you that takes the safety there. You have a 6'4", 240-pound quarterback that has never lost a yard in the history of time on a quarterback sneak. Now, you may get stoned, but you're not going backwards. You run the quarterback sneak, game's over with. The problem is he had his hands closed at the point that it was on Josh Allen, by the way. It was a bad quarterback center exchange that you practice every day. It's just a bad deal. But, no, you don't take a safety. And for those that are second-guessing, saying they should take a safety, are completely clueless about the game of football. So every announcer that says that.
That was wild turn of events, though.
That was insane.
Minnesota thinks they have a touchdown.
They don't. He probably did score, though.
It gets pulled back to the half-yard line. They don't get in. They go, oh, my God, we just lost by half a yard. And then one play later, the ball's on the ground. Unbelievable.
Then you drive down a tie it.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's crazy, but anyway.
What a football game.
Yeah, it was.
What a football game that was.
You had Western Kentucky -13, and they thumped Rice 45-10.
Yeah, it doesn't mean much to you guys, but Hilltoppers, you are the McCready Media Team of the Week. Frankly, Team of the Month. At this point, Team of the Year.
Grind, I just got news for you. I've been looking at the lines already. Western Kentucky.
I haven't done an SEC game all year.
You may do that one?
I might.
Hey.
Because let me just tell you, I need to look into it, but my early reaction is I really like Western Kentucky.
Not a lot of games this week.
I really like Western Kentucky.
I don't disagree with you. We talked about Oklahoma breaking your heart, 23-20.
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
And then Kansas losing to Texas Tech at home.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
All right, my college games. I took Georgia, 45-19 winners over Mississippi State.
That was easy.
Yeah, but you know what? I got to give State some props, man. They played good after the initial surge.
Griffin, the return guy, is a dangerous guy.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Tulu, good kid. Oregon State over Cal. I had a minus 13.5. They win 38-10 on the Pac-12 network, which sucks because you can't pick it up on anything, so I'm having to follow it on the radio. And then the easiest money of the week, I had the Troy Army under at 46.5. And my Troy Trojans, John Summerall and the Troy Trojans score with about, I don't know, at the end of the game, they were down 9-3, and they score to take the win against Coach Nuke's Army Golden Knights, 10-9.
That was a really good pick because they were way under.
And by the way, my man Carlton Marshall breaks the record, had 17 tackles at halftime. He breaks the all-time NCAA tackles record somewhere in the third quarter.
Yep.
All right. I had the Ole Miss. Here's where my 3 losses were right in a row. I had the Ole Miss Alabama over at 63.5. Yeah.
Just didn't get there.
Didn't get there.
Ole Miss played a better defensive game than I thought they would play.
All right, so
credit to them.
Let's talk about it. I've been asked about it a bunch. I've already been asked about it about 4 times in the thread. So I think Ole Miss's defense played good enough to win.
Yeah, I do too.
I think it was one of their better performances of the year.
I mean, look, number 9 is a special player for Alabama. He makes things happen. He extended 2 third-down plays where Ole Miss really defended it well, and he just made the play. Otherwise, those are field goals. And so instead of 14 points, it's 6 points, and we're talking about a different football game. He's a special player. I said this earlier this morning. I'm going to say it again. I don't care about all the stuff about his size. I don't care. That dude is going to win in the NFL.
Yeah. Dude,
He's just a winner. Bryce Young is a winner. It is as simple as that.
I know you didn't. I watched it on TV, obviously. I did not go. But right after, he comes on the sideline and had like the whole offense together and was ripping their ass, and they showed it on TV. And that's the next drive when they came down and drove the field and scored. Like, they responded after that, right? And then he's a special player.
Because they lost Gibbs early in the game.
Yeah, he was hurt.
He had 3 yards rushing. I think if you told Lane Kiffin before the game, hey, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to have 3 yards rushing, he'd have been like, oh,
hurt his ankle. I don't know how bad it is, but he did not play again.
Yeah. I mean, he would have thought, hey, we won.
But here's the thing, we talked about Alabama. I was a little disappointed, man. They're and it was evident again Saturday, they have no playmakers besides 9, and he has nowhere to go with the ball. But with all that being said, I mean, I shouldn't say they have none. They're different than they've been in the past. But I thought Ole Miss's defense had a good plan. I thought they did some good things with pressure. Here's where I think the game was won and lost. Alabama, starting in the second quarter, was able to get Ole Miss. I'm going to get a little football geeky on you right here, so forgive me. Alabama's defense was able to get Ole Miss's offense off schedule at somewhere during the drive. Not necessarily every drive, because they scored, I think, one more time after this. I want to say it was somewhere in the second quarter. They only scored 7 in the second half. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So I know it was somewhere in the second quarter.
They had 1 third quarter possession and they scored. And then they had a possession that started late in the third quarter that ended up being a 3 and out, and then another 3 and out. And I thought that's where the ball game was decided. And then they had a drive where they drove, stalled, went forward on the 4th down at like the Alabama 41, didn't get it. And then they had the final drive where they got down to the 14.
So where the change took place is the Ole Miss Alabama defense was able to get Ole Miss off schedule, and they were creating 3rd down and longs, a 3rd and 7+. And so Nick was able to get sub or nickel out of the game and get dime in the game, and he was able to play coverage, and they couldn't get open. The last play of the game, they were in 25 buster or 2-man, whatever you want to call it, and what Nick calls it 25 buster, and they were able to match up with Ole Miss personnel-wise. As long as Nick was in nickel, Lane was able to move the ball early in the game, but when they started creating issues is where they were able to go dime rabbits and be able to get the edge pressure, get both 15 and 31 on the field at the same time, and it became a tough deal. With all that being said, I got this message 500,000 times about officiating. And guys, and it's every fan base, and you're talking about what drives you crazy as a coach and not being invested, is the referees did not cost the game. It was not a well-officiated game. I will say that. It was not a well-officiated game. but nobody's out targeting Ole Miss or, because they're playing Alabama. Hell, Ole Miss was the one that if they were protecting anybody, they would have been protecting Ole Miss because they were the ones that still had a chance to go win, right, to make a better product. The first thing was, that was targeting. That wasn't targeting.
Oh, Evans?
No,
it wasn't targeting.
It was not targeting. It was no part of it. Evans' crown of his helmet was in the side of the Alabama defender, toe-to-toe.
I've watched it over and over.
That was not targeting.
For whatever reason, he got hit apparently because of the way that he got hit on the side of the head and into the neck.
He had his head down.
It knocked him out for a minute.
Yeah, he had his head down.
Right.
That does it every time. But that was not targeting. Now, and then I've seen it once, and this is what drives me crazy, and they probably know who they are, and they're probably watching too. There are some people on this beat that decide to tweet out 7 times about the terrible officiating. That drives me fucking nuts, man. It drives me nuts.
Your use of the word beat is quite liberal here, generous.
Yeah, brought to you by the Biden administration. I'm not talking about you. But you know what I'm saying. Like, guys, and let me tell you something. Hey, I'm Lane Kiffin. This one's for you. Let me tell you, I love what Lane said after the game. I listened to his press conference. Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved every second of what he said at the end.
Yeah.
Stop. This isn't, I hope he listened the other day. I was all fired up. This isn't about participation trophies. It's not. I don't care if you're Auburn, which we'll get to in just a second, or you're Ole Miss. Don't tell me about how many yards we ran for. Don't talk to me about the officiating.
They came to beat Alabama, and they didn't do it.
You didn't do it. And he's pissed about it. He should be.
Should be.
Good for him.
Because his team.
Good for him.
His team was right there, and you could argue.
But it drives me crazy.
You could argue that they were the better team.
It always drove me crazy to whether, hey, if we didn't get a recruit, the other team paid him. Hey, do you not realize that we were on probation like 5 times? I mean, if everything is always deflecting blame, it's never us. It's never us. Yeah. It's always somebody else's fault. And deflecting blame is a sign of weakness. Don't do that. If you want to change the mentality and you want to be a champion, start fucking acting like one. And that pisses me off.
Well, and here's the deal.
And we talk about the Jackson Dart thing, the pushing in the head. Was it a penalty? Yes, it was. But he didn't see it. He didn't look at it and go, I ain't calling that one.
Right.
And you can look at the picture and he's looking somewhere else. He's not looking at it. But I agree, it was a penalty. But you know what else they didn't call? They didn't call Otis Reese punching the Alabama receiver in the face after a touchdown. Burton. Yeah. They didn't call that. So it happens everywhere.
Here's the deal. At the end of the game, okay? And Lane talked about this today, and he's right. And if I'm an Ole Miss fan, this is what I want to hear from my coach. At the end of the day, Alabama was driving for a touchdown to put it away. And Ole Miss stopped them and held them to a field goal.
Yeah.
Okay? You got the ball back. You got the ball and a chance to take it down the field and beat Alabama. And you got to the 14-yard line first down with, frankly, more time than you wanted on the clock.
Probably so.
Because number 9 standing over there going, go ahead. You had a chance. You didn't get it done. At the end of the day, that's the stuff that – so there's 2 ways to look at it. You can do all the officiating stuff, or you can go, all right, well, we went toe-to-toe. He was asked, what does this, make changes or whatever? He goes, no, you make one more play. One more play.
Yeah.
That's his answers are exactly right. I mean, the guy, from a press conference standpoint, nailed it. Make one more play. You don't overturn the program. You don't shake things up. You make one more play.
Yeah.
You show on film, hey, as bad as this hurts.
But we talked about mentality, right?
Play from it, yeah.
I mean, that to me, and look, and I know I wasn't in front of the camera a lot, but that's the freaking that's where everywhere I've been, that's the mentality. Man, stop talking about, I get it. I know what it's, the expectations and all that things, but I've been a part of a lot of programs that have taken over places that were not winning. Okay, that's kind of what I did everywhere I'd been up until I got to Alabama. I mean, you can't go into somewhere and be like, well, we're trying to go to a bowl game. It's not good enough. Cool. And you show progress and you got to say the things out publicly. But inside, I don't care. And you were asking about the UT Martin deal. It doesn't matter. You can't have that mentality. We're just going to go in and play close. I like that. Go try to win. But if you want to be a championship program, you can't act like, well, it's the officials' fault. No, hell no, it's not. The calls went both ways. Now, it was a poorly
officiate a game.
Right.
I agree with that. There was a phantom hold call on the receiver. I didn't see that one. Okay, but you know what else happened on the second drive of the game? The receiver's about a yard short of the first down. They just moved the chains. Okay, it happens both ways. It does. It happens both ways. Were there some bad calls? Absolutely. I don't disagree with that. But stop bitching about the officiating and just play the fucking game.
You know what I think set the tone for that on Saturday, though, was the final few minutes of LSU Arkansas.
That was terrible.
Everybody was so locked into that game because if Arkansas wins,
results, right.
it changes the context of the Ole Miss game, and you have that.
Now that was bad.
You have that third down call where LSU throws it, trying to get a first down, and the Arkansas DB, I can't think of his name right now. I'm sorry.
I don't know who it was, but
he made a good play.
Yeah, I watched it again this morning.
He stopped him a half yard short.
The
ball never got to the line.
Never even smelled it.
Right. And they look at it on replay, and you can tell Sam Pittman is completely believing that this is about to get overturned. We're going to get the ball back and have a shot. And then they have the camera on him when the referee goes, no, it's first down. And he's like, you got to be effing kidding me. Like, what?
Yeah.
And I think, so that's what I think set the tone of, see, they're protecting the brands. Now, you and I have a little different view on this, okay? I don't believe that the officials are going in with any sort of a mandate or whatever to protect certain teams. I don't. That's too – because if that ever got out, you're done. I do think there's a human thing that is called expectancy bias that bleeds into officiating that you have to overcome. And expectancy bias is, I think the officials sort of expect the brands to win. And it almost sometimes bleeds into the way they call the games. But I don't think, because it's so hard, and if you watch the officials, and I do a lot because I'm weird. If you watch, because sometimes I really worry about the umpire. These kids are so fast, and they're so big, and they're so strong, right?
You got to be a different bird to be in there.
And you got these umpires that are in their late 40s.
Some are older than that.
And they're tough dudes, but you got guys like Harold Perkins and like in the Arkansas game.
Yeah.
You got Rocket Sanders running at you, Harold Perkins running across from you, trying to have a train collision, and you're like 4 feet away? I mean, look, you can get hurt. And so I don't think they have the ability to go, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fix this game. No. They're trying to protect themselves. I mean, on the sides and stuff. I mean, you can get hurt as a referee. Bad. And so, I just think, but I do think expectancy bias bleeds in. And then I just think the replays and such now are so precise. And then they just miss calls. Here's the part that's broken. Let me tell you what's broken in the SEC, and they got to figure out a way to fix it, and I don't know how.
Okay.
They've got to get replay fixed. They've got to get replay where it's 100% accurate. And they've got to do it, got to figure it out. There's too much money on the line and too many people are involved. Like that call at the end of Arkansas LSU, hear me out.
No, I will. I don't disagree with you.
Hear me out. It's not about Arkansas. It's not about LSU. Because I don't think Arkansas scores anyway. Because Perkins was going to play. And jeez. But if they overrule that and go, nope, he didn't get there. 4th down. And LSU punts. And Arkansas doesn't score. And LSU wins. Nobody goes, oh, see, they're protecting LSU because LSU's big. Nope. LSU just won. They overruled the call. But when they didn't overrule a call that everyone and all the people that were watching that,
everyone knew.
They were cheering for Arkansas because they wanted LSU to lose, but none of those people give a damn about Arkansas.
Right.
Right?
Correct.
They go, oh, wait a minute. Arkansas got screwed there. Why? And they start the conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
And so you do question, why didn't you? And they go, well, we didn't have a clear, concise. Yeah, you did.
Now I'm a believer in this. You want to talk about conspiracy theory? I'm a believer in this. I think they got the wrong people in the booth because some people
and you know who you are, refuse to overturn calls. I think you got this in the actual replay booth.
Yeah.
It's easier for them to leave it like they can deflect the blame.
Well, they're all interrelated.
Yeah.
And so when you overturn the call, you say the call was bad. I think they need to get independent people who aren't officials, but who can look at video and know what they're looking at.
Yeah.
To make those calls.
Because it's like this. It's like you have the one review guy that no matter how obvious it is, I didn't do it. He did it. I'm going to the call stands. And then you got other replay guy that's going to dissect everything he can dissect in the most meaningless call of all time, so he can say I overturned that call. There's two kinds of people, and there's not it's kind of like politics, man. You either got far right or you got far left. You don't have many in the middle.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I think that one call at the end of that game set the tone for the whole day.
All right. Speaking of LSU Arkansas, can we have a moment of silence for the
a moment of silence?
Greatest.
You mean a moment of admiration?
Freshman, impactful player that I may have ever witnessed in my 45 years now. 45 years and one day on this planet.
He's something else.
Harold Perkins.
Not sure why we're a moment of silencing this, Harold. We're just admiring your talents.
Just appreciating him.
Yeah.
Dude, it really is. The dude had the flu. Did you know that?
Did you hear the story?
No,
I just knew he had the flu. And Brian Kelly said something to him about MJ had his best game with the flu. You ready to feel old?
Don't tell me how long ago it was.
No, you're going to feel really old. Harold Perkins Jr. goes, "Who's MJ?"
Stop it.
Who's MJ?
Well, dude, all I know is
that's where Brian Kelly just went.
He dipped underneath the right tackle on one of the last
Did you
sacks.
see that play?
And it's like I've seen one person in my life.
The tackle really was in good position, and he just went he vanished.
I thought for me, the best that's ever done that ever was Dwight Freeney for the Colts. He was one of the best I've ever seen do it.
I'm going to tell you who Perkins reminds me of.
I know who you're going to say, I bet.
Lawrence Taylor.
That's exactly. I mean, but even in Lawrence Taylor's days, that wasn't even necessary. He was just faster than everybody else. He's a freshman, and the technique that he's using, I don't even think he knows what he's doing. But it wasn't even just that. It was like Hornsby.
It's that 1 week he can do that, and the week before he's basically playing middle linebacker and spying Bryce Young.
And then he did it on What's it Hornsby? Malik Hornsby? What's the kid's name for a quarterback for Arkansas?
Arkansas Hornsby, yeah.
What's his first name?
Malik.
Oh, I did get it right.
He had, and that kid.
So he leaves, and normally he outruns everybody. Perkins chases him down and causes the fumble.
Hornsby is like an elite
speed.
He's a track guy.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then
excuse me.
It's unfathomable to me how disruptive he is. And now the interesting part is it's going to affect Georgia's game too when they have to play him.
Oh, yeah.
But they're going to have to probably have to run a little bit more downhill. But I'm just like, holy smokes, man.
He's amazing.
That's unbelievable.
He's an amazing football player.
I mean, amazing.
It's 3 games now that he has directly, I think, been the reason they won.
Oh, yeah, easy. The last 3 for sure.
Because they were down 14-0, 17-0 to Ole Miss. And he comes in, and from that point forward, Ole Miss couldn't do anything. Beats Alabama. And then, look, they were in trouble Saturday.
Yeah. If he doesn't play, I think they lose.
Arkansas's defense, credit Barry Odom and them, had a great plan and did a really good job.
They came to play.
Yeah.
I was impressed. Last game we'll talk about real briefly. TCU and Texas, I had the over in that, and both teams decided to show up and play defense for some reason. I wasn't even close. The final score was 17-10. Nobody scored. It was good. I mean, it was a great game, but it was not what anybody expected. It was a very sloppy game. And then I lost my money line. Let's go there. Do you realize that if I had stuck to my first gut and picked UConn as my money line last week, that I'd be sitting very comfortable right now in the lead?
Thank God.
That goes to tell you, when you have your first gut, stick with it. And I didn't. I chickened out. I talked myself out of that one. I cannot believe I'd be up like 5 units right now if I'd stuck with my guns. But I didn't. And you know what happens? It is what it is.
Mm-hmm. What else we got?
Last thing, I just want to, and let's put some things in perspective here a little bit. This UVA tragedy that's happened.
Yeah, it's
It kind of puts things in perspective
just
a little bit, or a lot of bit. Thoughts and prayers out to those guys. Please keep their families in mind, in your thoughts and your prayers. That's just I watched the press conference today. There's gonna be more coming out, but a lot of people's lives affected and changed forever today.
Were the football players targeted?
They haven't released any of that information. I watched the press conference. They went on a field trip to Washington D.C. for a class to watch a play, and the shooting took place on the charter bus on the way back to campus. That's what they said in the deal today.
So he was still part of the program.
No. This was a class, like a
Okay.
university class.
Oh,
That went to Washington D.C. to watch a play.
Got you.
On a charter bus.
Got you.
And I guess he was on the bus. They haven't said, because they asked him as he was in the class, enrolled in the class. They were like, we don't know that information. I'm sure they do. There's some things they can't say, right? But the shooting took place on the charter bus.
Were all of the people who were shot football players?
They didn't say that. I know 3 deceased are.
Right.
And there's another one in critical condition. They did not release that person's name. There's another one in good condition. They didn't release their name.
Okay.
But he was a former walk-on the program.
That's correct. A couple years ago.
Mm-hmm. So it's just the thing that I thought, how unfortunately we see these press conferences all too often now. They had a threat analysis or something, like he got triggered in last year at some point. I think we'll say February 2021 is what they said, or something, that somebody reported that he'd made threats or whatever, and that they were aware of it. And he went through some kind of university council deal as far as research, but it never got to the police. But the police did. They knew that something was wrong for a while. It's just a sad, sad deal, man. And I don't wish that upon any family, any human being. No. And we talk, a lot of times we get passionate about our teams and passionate about subjects and all that. And it just, it puts things in perspective. So, thoughts and prayers out to those families.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll end on that sober note. We'll come back on Thursday. Have another edition of McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. We will get you previewed for the weekend ahead. Not a lot of big games, but a handful of interesting games, and another weekend in the NFL as well. So thanks to everybody for being in the thread with us. We appreciate it. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. We would appreciate that as well. And until Thursday, for Tyler, I'm Neal. Take care.